Alright. Big news. I'm gonna do this video in English because my intent is to help people with this video, because there was a fact that Monish Pabrai just sold 70% of his stake in Alibaba. And I've seen a video from Brad, I think his name is the after dinner investor. And he looked pretty rattled, like he's been practicing the concept of shameless cloning, meaning that he just looked what gurus are doing and basically cloned their approach to invest in companies. And I know for a fact that Brad, I think his name is, I don't even know his name, but I just know him from the After Dinner Investor podcast. I think his name is Jason. I'm sorry, Jason. And he looked pretty rattled because he was approaching that cloning mindset and was just cloning into the Alibaba position. And I think he went, he had his personal fund invested in Alibaba and also his company fund, and even a huge stake, right? I pretty much try to invest the most 5% in Alibaba. Not because I don't think Alibaba is not a good company and that it's not a profitable company with a huge moat and a competitive advantage, great management team, and is affordable at a good price. More of a sense that in my checklist I have a check item where it says, is my investment vulnerable to outside stimulus? And for that reason, I'm not so exposed to Alibaba. I go maximum 5% of my portfolio, because of that risk. And I think Jason went in with I think like 10 or even more percent of his portfolio, and that's the problem, right? I think cloning is a great starting point to research companies. So pretty much what I do every quarter, the biggest hedge funds in the world, like north of 100 million, are supposed to file their holdings with the SEC if they have holdings in the USA or through the New York Stock Exchange. And pretty much you could see that Charlie Munger, Monish Pabrai, Guy Spear, Phil Town, Ray Dalio, all of those great investors, they invested this year in Alibaba. And since then the Alibaba stock has been declining, going down. And well, yesterday Monish Pabrai filed that he exited 70% of his portfolio. But I think in general this is not a selling sign, because Jason was mentioning in his video that maybe he's seen that the story changed. So pretty much when you invest in a company like this, and you see some value investors exiting a position, you might ask yourself, okay, why did they sell the position? And one reason they could have sold the position is that the story in general changed, right? So for example, something, maybe the moat changed, maybe his viewpoint of the regulation change of the Chinese government, and these are all factors to consider. And the problem is that we don't know for sure what the reason was why Monish Pabrai sold out of Alibaba. And he mentioned this might be a reason. The second reason he mentioned was Monish Pabrai is actually right now finding great opportunities in Turkey and Korea, and maybe he just saw the Alibaba position more of a hedge against inflation and something of a spot which can fight inflation, excuse me. And and now he just found other opportunities where he's like, yeah, I want to allocate my capital to that position. even though I made a 10% drawdown on Alibaba. That's pretty much where he is right now. The way you can track this is that you just look from the last SEC filing to the SEC filing the quarter before, and you just look at the chart. You just look at the chart, and then you pretty much just look where was the Alibaba chart the lowest within the last 3 months. And if you do this, there's no other way to finding out what could have been the lowest price. In this example, Monish Pabrai bought Alibaba. And when you did this for the last 2 quarters, you pretty much seen that Monish Pabrai made about a 10% loss, but still decided to sell Alibaba for some reason. And my estimation is that he did this because he found other great opportunities that he wanted to allocate his funds to. So the reason why I'm thinking this is oftentimes when I do an investment, I try to reverse engineer the situation. And the starting point where I always start is what people or what authorities are doing the action. And in this case, you have Monish Pabrai, you have Guy Spear, who's also invested in Alibaba with a 5% stake, and they are friends. These are the 2 buddies that went to the Warren Buffett dinner for $1 million and gained some wisdom there. So they're good friends, and I know for a fact they are pitching ideas every now and then, and they talk on the phone like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger used to do. And therefore I saw that Guy Spear didn't sell his stake, and Guy Spear was like most of the value investor invested like with 5% of his fund, and he did not sell. Another guy who did not sell, who also has like a 5% stake in Alibaba, is Phil Town. And Phil Town is also one of my heroes, and he is friends with Guy Spear. And you have Monish Pabrai, who is friends with Guy Spear. Guy Spear didn't sell. Monish Pabrai reduced his position 70% to 5%. So there's now Monish Pabrai with 5%. There's Guy Spear with 5%. And if you look at in the filings of Phil Town of the Rule 1 Fund, you see Alibaba 5%. So this whole group now is into Alibaba with 5%. And guess what I would do? I would just clone the fact that all the value investors are in that I respect are in who also know each other and talk to each other on a regular basis pretty much, are all into Alibaba with 5%. So if I had 5%, I would just keep my feet still, and if I would have more, well, this would be a totally different situation. I probably, if I would do the shameless cloning and do not care, I would just clone what Monish is doing. But I'm not a shameless cloner. Like I said, the investment ideas I cloned, and they give me like another sense of security, because I just know that my investment ideas already went to a filter of smart investment minds. But this is just where my investment process starts and where I start my homework. And this is like a perfect example of what could happen if you don't do this, because I bet if you have a large stake in Alibaba and you're just a shameless cloner, and you see that the guy that you clone reduces his position by 70% and you don't know why he did it, I don't know. This is a emotional situation I just don't want to be in, so I just pass. And I don't do that. So my learning from this event is to always just use the cloning framework as a starting point to get my research started. Yeah, that is pretty much it. And yeah, I would like to know what you think about my about the situation that Monish Pabrai is selling 70% of Alibaba. Yeah, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I see you in the next video, and I will continue my research with Alibaba.